Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm playing Asterix and Obelix, slapped them all here on the Xbox One. Is it any good? Let's find out. Asterix and Obelix are characters based on a comic strip that was created back in 1959, debuting in the magazine Pilote, hope I pronounced that correctly, as a comic strip before getting its own published book in 1961. It was created by these guys here. I'm not even going to try to mention their names because I'm just going to butcher it. The Asterix brand has a long history that has branched out to many different aspects of the entertainment industry. Video games is no exception here. Throughout the years, the franchise has had around 34 titles, but there might be more out there that are unaccounted for. Asterix and Obelix, Slap Them All, is the latest entry in this franchise. Released in December 12 of this year, it is a beat-em-up 2D game in the vein of Streets of Rage and Double Dragon in its simplest form. And it's an updated reimagining of the Asterix arcade game released by Konami back in 1992. The presentation of the game is simply amazing. If you're a fan of the Asterix comic books, or graphic novels if you prefer, this game hits it right on the nose. The hand-drawn animations of all the characters are just pleasing to the eye. It's just lovely to look at. There's plenty of it too. I love it when you uppercut enemies right out of their sandals. They literally fly out of them. All characters are right out of the comics, so if you've read those before or played any of the previous Asterix games, you will recognize them immediately. It feels like you're playing a cartoon, kind of like Cuphead but with a more sharp look, and the backgrounds are just gorgeous as well. But do feel repetitive after a while. Even Asterix here points that out in the game.
I feel like I already passed these houses.
They are nice eye candy for the first 2 levels or so, but after that it gets repetitive real soon. Between the levels you're going to be treated to still animated cutscenes that flesh the story out as you progress.
Back at the village, our Gauls happen upon a curious visitor.
They feel a little bit out of place for me because the rest of the game looks like it was treated with care, love, and time, and then rushed with the cutscenes. And like I've said before many times, graphics are not everything, so how does the gameplay handle?
Look what we have here! Bacon! There's no end to them! Come on, don't be shy! Round 3, go on the carousel!
The controls feel great. They are responsive, which is exactly what you want in a beat-em-up. You got plenty of moves between both characters. You can choose to play alone or local co-op. If you choose to play alone, you can switch between both characters at any time with the touch of a button. But if you die while using either one, you automatically lose and you have to restart the level over. So in that sense, it requires you strategize a bit, switching between both as you collect food to regain your health. You can try to go as far as you can with one character before switching. You can try and go as far as you can with one character before switching to the other, or you can swap between them both from time to time as you progress. Regardless of who you choose, they are equal. They handle the same. The controls are basically the same and they feel the same. They both deal the same damage and move at the same speed. It would have been nice to make them control a bit different to match their characters' comic characteristics. There's also no way to upgrade your offense or defense or any other skills on your character, so once you finish a level, there really is no reason to go back to it unless you're collecting trophies, but they themselves don't unlock anything in the game. The enemies are repetitive and plentiful. Sometimes it's a bit too much. You're gonna lose yourself in the field of battle constantly. I know I did. I found myself dashing from side to side until I knocked out a good amount of enemies to lighten the number and make things easier for me to follow. You know, less enemies on the screen. I can actually see what I'm doing. The dash control makes you almost invincible for a short burst, except for a few enemies that can cancel it out with their attack moves.
You're going to regret coming here! Make way! Make way! Up, up and away! Let it rip! You can see your house! Come on!
The enemies all drop plenty of coins. I kept picking them up thinking maybe there's a store or a way to redeem them, maybe after the game, or some kind of an item selection screen, anything of that type, but there isn't. No store or item selection option anywhere, even between the levels. So you can collect coins all day if you like, but they make no difference other than for your score. The same thing goes with the sandals. You can knock your enemies towards the sky, having them leave their sandals behind, which I find very funny and adds detail to the mayhem. You can pick them up, but as far as I can tell, they just count towards your score, like coins. So after a while, I just stopped picking up coins and sandals. What's the point? The music and sound effects fit the game perfectly, but after some time, the one-liners spewed out by the main characters will start to get to you. At least for me it did.
Let's clear the air!
Every time you perform certain moves, they will say the same 2 or 3 sentences lines over and over again, and while the music does fit the game, I didn't find any of the music particularly amazing or memorable.
Alright, I'm all set!
Goody. Oh, gotcha. This way.
So is the game worth $30 for the digital copy? That's a toss-up. If you're a huge fan of Asterix and Obelix, you get a game that looks extremely great and brings the comics to life perfectly for a 2D beat-em-up game. It has great presentation. The graphics are great, the backgrounds are great, the animation is great, and with such great graphics and details into the visuals, you might overlook the flaws that I have with this game. And what flaws would that be? The gameplay is extremely shallow. After the first few levels, the eye candy and awe will start to quickly die down. The game offers no replayability whatsoever. Like I said, there is no store or item selection mechanics in the game. There is no point in picking up coins or sandals unless you're going for like a high score. There is no experience points or any type of leveling system in place. What you start out with is what you got. So once you finish the game, I see no point in replaying it at all. Now on a game like this, on a beat 'em up, you want to provide such options to lengthen the life of the game, since these type of games tend to fall short on replayability on their own. So by offering no such things, it falls short on gameplay or replayability. I mean, even adding a couple of mini games to break up the monotony would have been a nice addition. Even the 1992 arcade game had a couple of mini games in between levels. And it's funny because the website mentions an arcade mode and an adventure mode, yet there's only an adventure mode and free play mode, which the free play mode basically lets you replay any of the missions if you're into collecting trophies. The adventure mode is basically the arcade mode. It would have been nice if that mode lets you choose at least the stages through a map selection screen or something similar to that. Maybe make some levels especially difficult or impossible to clear without a character properly leveled up. That would add to replay value. Unfortunately, this game falls off a steep slope once you clear the presentation aspect of it. Now, is it a bad game? No, not really. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I'd probably give this one a solid 6, maybe 6.5. Not great, not terrible, and I had fun with it for a short period of time. I find myself coming back to it in short spurts. I mean, you could do much worse out there, but if you're an Asterix fan, this one is a great addition to your game library. The website even has a collector's edition package. If you want to shell out $170, you can get all this, which is basically 4 games and lots of collector goodies. This is a dream for an Asterix fan. So this has been Asterix and Obelix, Slap Them All, played on Xbox One. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Join me for my next video, and until then, take care of yourselves.